Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for this edition of Easton Park Talk. I'm here with our neighbor, Emily Abrams Smith, who is the recipient of the Nexus Grant from the city of Austin and the mind behind Art in the Park.
The vibe captain.
She's the vibe captain of Art in the Park, which is happening on January 4th.
In Skyline Park.
From 11 to 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to talk today about Art in the Park, of course, and the journey of creativity, the passion behind creativity, the arts, everything that it goes into being creative. And it's going to be really fun. So let's jump right in. So let's talk about Art in the Park.
Yeah.
So can you talk about you had to get a grant?
I did.
And what was that process like?
This was my first time applying for a grant,
Okay.
but the city of Austin made it pretty easy.
Okay.
It is amazing what you find when you look up what's going on at local libraries. Like they had a ton of info sessions and Q&As with the folks that would be looking at the applications and scoring them. So that was like a big help.
Okay.
But it was really just kind of pitching an idea to the city that met certain parameters, things like the time of year, because they do this grant cycle twice a year.
Okay.
Who you're intending to reach. Are you going to make it accessible? Are you going to try and target or market underserved communities, which really is kind of our whole zip code.
Yeah, it is.
Easton Park has brought a lot of wealth and wonder to this area, but traditionally this is just very underserved from the arts perspective.
Yep.
Even East Side art events like East Side studio tours hasn't had any stops in 78744. So it felt like a really great opportunity to throw something in the neighborhood so that my commute was short.
Yeah.
And that my connections could be strong with my neighbors and folks that live right here in and around Easton Park.
You painted a mural in our neighborhood
Yeah,
at
the
Treehouse
Treehouse
Park. So cool. Can you how did you get asked to do that or volunteer to do that?
I did not get asked, y'all.
You just did it?
I just asked them.
Good for you.
Asking for permission to do things that I think would be fun or bring joy or light or color to the community.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I really love it. I love walking by every day and seeing it.
Yeah.
On my way to Cinizo or on my way to Meekintai,
Yeah.
So good.
So good. So let's talk about Siniso for a second because we all love
Harrison
Siniso
and Nancy. Love them.
Yes, Harrison and Nancy are the best. What's your Siniso order?
My husband's order is always the same. Steven is always a vanilla latte, extra hot, which, although I love him, is such an obnoxious order to say, especially in like the 105-degree weather, to be like, oh, excuse me, can you please make that extra
How do you make it
hot?
extra hot?
One time he had one that wasn't quite warm enough, and now never again. Everything needs to be scalding. But I go back and forth depending on my mood, the energy of the day.
Okay.
Usually an iced horchata latte, sometimes warm horchata latte. The churro latte right now, the seasonal, is delicious.
I haven't had it.
Oh, it's very good.
Maybe we should meet up there tomorrow.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Love it. Any other? Have you tried their matcha? Are you a matcha girl?
I'm not a matcha girl. I have one like matcha face mask, and even the smell of the face mask is like almost too much for me.
Got it.
But they are beautiful. I love that color green, very vibrant.
Yeah.
I love seeing people order matchas.
I wasn't a matcha girl at all until Siniso, and we were ordering what was it? Cachava, which is like a protein meal replacement for in the morning. It's just like quick, like very nutritious breakfast in the morning that's fast.
Yeah.
It's powder. And Steve had accidentally made 2 separate accounts. And so we had so much Cachava.
You had like auto subscribe on
Yes,
too.
on both. On both. And so like one of them was like a variety pack. It was like chai, matcha, chocolate, and vanilla. And one bag can last. You only need 1 a day. There's a lot of fiber. Don't do 2 a day. We've learned. Cautionary tale. But we had so much of the matcha, and I was like, I don't like matcha. Like,
yeah.
And then Siniso happened, and their matcha is good.
Everything is good. How could you feel bad supporting like literally a homegrown business.
They're amazing.
Like, I take pride in that.
Yeah.
Even on days where I'm not buying coffee and I walk by that trailer and there's a line, I am like, oh, heck
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. And they're just great people. Nancy and Harrison are two just very kind, very awesome people. So the matcha is really good. And then I like, recently I've been getting the iced vanilla latte, and it's very good. Very smooth, easy to drink, gets you a little rush.
Yeah.
But their cold brew will forever be my favorite. It's just so good, like black cold brew.
I have this bad habit of like, once I find an order I like, then like I'm on that order
Leaning
until
in.
I'm off that order.
Yeah.
I have not even tried their cold brew.
You should try it. It's you can add oat milk to it. I used to in the beginning, and then I was like, why dilute the beautiful
You just drink it.
ringer I'm about
You
to
drink
get?
it black?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not grown up enough for that.
But it's so good. I don't know what they put into. There's something they do to it where no one else's cold brew I would drink black, but theirs is like it's like just sweet enough.
Okay, I'll try.
Give
I'll
it a
try
shot.
this. Yeah.
They'll let you just go tell. They'll be like, Harrison, can I just have like
Y'all,
a
the
quick-"
number of times I have spilled drinks at Siniso and had to walk back up there with my tail between my legs, like, I just dropped my drink.
They're the best.
They're the best.
They're like, here, let us make you a new one.
I'm like in the whole 7 spills with them, so I'm certainly not going to ask for a taster. I will
Can I have a
happily pay.
Can I have a taste? Yeah, no, let's go to Siniso tomorrow. That sounds awesome. Have you heard of the Easton Park Gazette?
I have.
Do we have a
named
copy
Tim.
somewhere? Are you gonna make it a? Oh, sorry.
Air delivery.
Okay, so you know Tim Andrew.
Yes.
Y'all have chat. So this is the Easton Park Gazette.
How cool.
It's
Who
so
does
cool.
this? Who has like a neighborhood newspaper that they just say, hey, I've got a cool idea and I'm going to follow through and actually make it happen?
Seriously, I'm gonna do a experiment with you.
Okay.
I'm gonna hand this to you.
Okay.
Look at it. Check it out. Do what you would do with a newspaper, as you would. I was looking at it the other day with Tim, and it was like I haven't flipped through a newspaper in a really long time.
Yeah, there's something that feels so good about doing that.
Yes, I want like silly putty. That's the only thing that's missing. Did you ever do that silly
Heck
putty
yeah.
on the?
And it would invert the comics.
Yes.
That was always my favorite. Or
Yeah.
the funny pages, as my grandma used to call
The
them.
funny pages. Yes.
Yeah, this is cool.
So cool. I love that.
How does one even find a newspaper printer? I'm so impressed with his initiative.
How did he find it? Do you know? He's very so my experiment was, and there was no passing or failing, but the first thing I did when I opened that newspaper was I smelled it. And do you smell books? Like, do you ever open books to smell them? Never?
No.
It's a thing. So Tim was like, he goes, you're like, no, you
Sorry, did that sound like totally disgusted?
no, it's a thing. It's a total thing.
Interesting.
So like, that's when I think Tim and I might have become best friends.
Y'all
because,
both sniffed?
well, when he saw me open it and I like put my face in it and took a big ol' in the microphone, like, and he was like, do you like to read? And I was like, yes. And he's like, yeah, you just sniffed that like a book. He's like, you smell books. And I was like, yes. Every new books smell different than old books.
I
and
love
newspapers.
like library book smell.
See, so
Yeah.
know, it's like a thing. But like, I smelled the newspaper, and he was like, he and I are gonna get together and start a book club, and you should be a part of it. And he left here.
I never finish most books.
Maybe Steven could be part of the book club.
Yeah,
he's more of the book
excellent.
guy.
Yeah, definitely.
But
I'm
like,
more the idea person, the razzle dazzle.
the razzle dazzle. You did razzle dazzle this whole thing.
Yes.
Tim left here. I think I like stacked him up with like 3 or 4 books. I was like, read these and get back to me. He's
Project
like,
Hail Mary.
I don't have that one in print. So no, I didn't give him that one, but I will suggest
Tim,
it
if you're listening, you should
Yeah,
definitely listen to that one.
PHM, Project Hail Mary. That's how I didn't know what Steven was saying for like we'd be sitting all at the poker table and he'd be like, how's it going with PHM? I'm like, I don't know. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, Project Hail Mary. Oh, got it. The acronyms. But the book thing will be very cool. And Tim's idea of this newspaper situation, I think, is excellent.
It's like a gift to the neighborhood.
Yeah. And I think he's doing it quarterly, Steve, or monthly? Monthly. So he's going to set this out
Yeah.
monthly. And as a
Pet of the month.
pet of the
I
month.
saw that. That was so cute. That was the page I opened to.
Yes, that might be his
Paws
dog.
on Chacon.
Yeah. Paws on Chacon is going to be here. And they're coming on the podcast to talk about
Keith and Tim.
Mhm.
Did you know that we know Keith and Tim?
Nope.
They were at our wedding.
Did not.
Yeah.
On Paws on Chacon,
Yeah.
guys.
Do they live here?
They live on the east side. not in Easton Park.
East Side. Well, they're coming on old podcast.
Keith has said that he wants to come on. I don't know if the other guy's coming.
Keith is wild and so fun and
Excellent.
just an incredible mind. I love him. Yeah.
Awesome.
Drop him a note. Say you came on.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tim too. Tim is also. Are they both coming on?
I reached out. I was just kind of randomly trolling. I was just kind of randomly cold calling or cold reaching out.
Yeah.
To owners of businesses that are coming into Easton Park, and he's the one that answered. And he's saying he's definitely looking forward to it. So
Yeah.
Excellent.
He's a kick for sure.
yeah.
Very
Talk
cool.
about someone who has followed their passion. And I'm sure he'll tell you a lot more about himself and his backstory and when he came to Austin. But from the day that I met him, which was years before he started this business,
Okay.
he is so passionate about his dogs, about pets, and about like really paying attention to what you're feeding them, how you're caring for them. And just the fact that I could walk into that store right now and come up with any random scenario about what kind of dog or breed or age or what they like or don't like. And he could tell me exactly what food I should be feeding them, exactly how to transition to that food. He could probably identify, like if you were to take a piece of kibble in and it was something he sold, he could tell you what brand it was.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's wild.
That's
It's
passion.
like, yeah, absolute passion.
Love that.
Yeah.
We need to get them, Keith and Tim
Mm-hmm.
together with Brian and Erica. So Brian and Erica are opening Meow Bark Vet Clinic over at the Ramble
In the Goodnight.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they were so very cool. They are so very cool. They were here last night. We instantly connected. I want you, me, and Erica to hang out.
I would love that.
She's so cool. Like, we can get Irene in on the mix. Like, and they're very creative too. They're both musicians. They're in a it's called the Vet Band, or like they're all in a band together.
That's so cool.
It's so stinking cool. And he loves to garden. And like, anyway, it's just very, very cool. But let's get Keith and Tim together with them, because they want to come back and talk about like hot topics with pets.
Yeah.
And right now, like they teased it a little bit yesterday, but like grain or grain free.
For sure you should
like,
get Keith involved.
And it sounds like he's super passionate about that.
Absolutely.
So like, yeah, awesome. That we'll definitely do that. And just to support, like, I think the coolest businesses are going into that little strip center behind CVS.
Yeah, the nail salon. Got to find somebody.
Yeah, the nail salon. I'll reach out to Andy today, or tonight. But yeah, like, so you know what might be really cool, Emily, is if you did like maybe like art or painting or something, or like community art for some of these like very community driven companies that are going into that area. Like, I know Frost Bank would love to have something like of Easton Park in that branch.
For sure.
And then Enamel Dentistry is coming in, and we talked to Dr. C and Dr. Patel, and they are so cool. Like, Dr. C did a beatbox concert for us
That's
on
awesome.
the podcast. More awesome, Dr. Patel did karaoke of Mariah Carey.
Which song?
What song did he do? Do you remember? I'm not gonna sing because I can't. But
Get to know your Mariah catalog.
Yeah, I know. What's wrong with me? Nick Cannon would be so disappointed in me right now. But yeah, no, they were very cool, and I think they're very like community focused, like very much they're very excited about Easton Park. Paws on Chacon, obviously you know them. Like, amazing. And then Chiba Hut is coming.
I have not. Wait, actually, no. You have told me about this. Sandwiches, right?
Yeah, sandwiches. It's marijuana inspired sandwiches. There's not marijuana in the sandwiches, obviously, but like just a cool,
like munchies vibe.
Yeah, like munchies, California vibe. I don't know if it's California vibe. In my brain, it is, but I think that whole area is going to be very, very cool.
Yeah, that looks.
There
cool.
we are. Yeah, that's
honestly, I wonder who they're having do a mural. They should have Irene in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's so cool when people just have ideas that they act on. And I think when you see people doing cool things, you should say something
let
call it
them know.
out, support them.
Yeah, because if you don't say anything, people don't know. Like,
No, and again, kind of back to that point of like we all just have so much that's expected of us every day.
yeah,
I feel like we've all gotten a bit comfortable being pretty passive with like life happening and us just kind of responding to it.
yeah,
But when you take a moment to kind of like look up and look around and you see things that are worth celebrating, I think there's real power in calling
Celebrating.
it out.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
yeah.
That's cool. I want to support you in that idea.
That's awesome. Let's bring art to these little businesses, like
Yeah.
local art. I love that. The other really cool thing about Easton Park now is Drinks Backyard. Have you
Yeah.
spent some time there?
I have.
Love that place.
I've been there for a birthday party or two.
Okay.
I noticed that they have a couple events opening up that have that kids are welcome, which is very cool.
So smart of them.
Though I am in full support of spaces without kid faces.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you just need a little
Spaces without
break.
kid faces.
But it is cool too that they are being so inclusive in that way and
Yeah.
realizing like, hey, there are probably some people with kids along that need a little break. Let's have something for them as well.
Yeah, and it's such a cool space. Like, I agree. We, with no children, Steve and I love spaces without kid faces. But sometimes we have kiddos in our sphere that tend to hang out with us for time. And like the cool thing about Drinks Backyard, I think the coolest thing is they have Mario Kart Monday, but even not on Monday, you can play Mario Kart, but it's on a screen as big as like that
Heck yeah,
wall.
dude. I did not know that.
I know. It's so cool. And so it's like Briggs and Suddy would love to go do that, you know,
Yeah.
like, and so, but we did call them and they were like, can we bring our nephews to play Mario Kart? They're like, no.
It changes the vibe. I respect a hard
1,000%.
boundary there.
Oh yeah. And there should be there, but I think it is cool that they're going to have events that are kid friendly
Yes.
so that like bring your kids, hang out. Like,
yeah.
so
And
very
clear about
cool.
expectations too. If that's not your vibe, then maybe I won't go there that night.
Yeah. Cause there'll be kids there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is, yeah, that's smart and make the decision. We also like to talk about favorite places to eat in Austin. Do you have a
Yeah.
few favorite restaurants?
I would say Meek and Thai is like my number one right now.
Yes. Okay, I'm so glad you brought that back up because
Yeah.
we talked about it and then we went on a Siniso tangent. But Meek and Thai is so good, and the woman who runs it is the sweetest soul.
Yeah, she really is. And her whole family. It's just a kind, patient, joy-focused person.
Yeah.
Like even when she's slammed, she's just kind of like, "Ugh."
She's living
a
the
little
dream.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like she's so cool. Their food is
Delicious.
delicious.
Like
I didn't know
delicious.
until Thursday when we were playing poker that they do hot wings.
oh,
Did
I've
you
heard
know
about this.
that?
I've not tried them yet.
I haven't tried them either. I want to try them. I love hot wings, Thai hot wings, like, and just to support the truck as a whole.
Yeah.
Would be awesome. But their crab rangoons are really good.
Oh
Like
my gosh.
everything is really, really, really good.
The Pad See Pad Thai, the Moss Mung curry.
I haven't had the curry. Is
Oh,
it
this
very
is a good curry
Like,
kind of time of year.
It is. It would be perfect. I do have to tell you, I've mentioned you on the podcast probably more than 5 times.
Yeah.
And your description of the number 2 at El Paso Flautas, like, can you just explain it
Wow.
in your own words?
Yeah, it's like the El Paso version of grilled cheese and tomato soup. When you're in that kind of mood that you want like old 1996 Campbell's commercial
Yes.
vibes of like the snowman kid who melts into a kid. Like
Mhm.
that's the way it makes me feel.
Yeah. You and I'm so glad that I repeated what you said correctly because I was like, yeah, no, she calls it like grilled cheese and tomato soup vibes of
Yeah.
just like comfort food.
Yes.
We were eating that. You had talked about it so highly that I think we had left the pool and gone over there and it was so hot, like the middle of summer hot.
Yeah.
And we got to number 2, which is a hot soupy tomato situation on hot flautas. And it was like, I don't care how hot it is.
cheese,
Yeah,
hot
the
meat.
cheese, the meat.
Hot soup.
Yeah, like it's gonna warm you up.
Yeah.
And it was already like 100 degrees, but like, oh, it was so good. Like everything about it is so good. And what is his name?
Art.
Art.
Also art.
Oh
Art at
my
Treehouse Park.
goodness. Art in Treehouse Park. Yeah.
He is incredible. I don't think people know that like he paid to redo the parking area there. He built that music
I
stage
didn't know that.
and wired it with electricity.
Art did?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And I know we've seen a lot of food trucks come and go,
Mhm.
But that's totally up to us. If we want to live in a neighborhood with a food truck park, then we need to be a neighborhood that supports a food truck park.
Yeah, we got to go.
And especially for someone who came into our community with such vigor of like, hey,
Yes.
I'm doubling down. This is my new space for my truck. I'm going to make this a space people want to be.
Yeah.
So,
And he's now in the back corner.
yes, he's over where Blind Man used to be.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, I'm
And that's a
craving
tough
that too.
spot, right? Because Cenizo's the big pole, Mikentai's the big pole, the Arepas place, like all of them on the left side always seem to have a bit of traffic. It's those trucks on the right side.
Yeah,
so.
we had someone on yesterday. His name is Daniel Sharp. He's new to Easton Park, pretty new to Austin, and he's a realtor. He taught percussion line for
cool.
years. He's a very nice guy.
Yeah.
And he helped just kind of like pro bono helped out the turkey. It's like a Turkish truck, which is
Sam's.
next to yeah. Have you been there?
Yeah, I've been
Is
to
it
all of
good?
them. I take very seriously. Like if you are a neighborhood in this business and there's something that I need, I'm gonna go to you first.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So Daniel was talking about it yesterday. He hasn't been, but he helped them kind of secure a home here in Easton Park where they
Very
drop their kid off at
cool.
school and then they go run the truck, and
Yeah.
it's amazing. But I haven't had it, and he says he hasn't had it.
Oh,
so
very
It's
good.
very good.
The chicken shawarma over fries. That's the order.
Over fries.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. I've never. I mean, I don't really. I couldn't tell you what like Turkish cuisine is, but totally down to try it.
Yeah.
Like amazing. And then, the taco truck's been there forever, or like the Mexican food truck has
Yep.
been there for a long
El
time.
Monarca. Though
Yeah.
La China, not in the Treehouse Park, is my favorite breakfast
That's
taco.
right next door, right?
Yeah.
Like
In the car repair area. It's
Yeah.
the big red truck.
I think Irene was telling us
So
about
good.
those tacos that like they're very, very good.
Ava is the lady who runs it.
Okay.
We're on a first name basis now because of how frequently I go there.
Okay.
The green salsa.
Good. You're like the best. Chef's
Yeah,
kiss.
perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Love it. Amazing. So, let's chat a little bit more about Art in the Park,
Yeah.
if we could. When did you secure the grant? And then how long have you had or will you have to create and like activate the activity? Like,
Yeah.
the event.
So I applied for the grant in August. I received notification that I got the grant at the end of September.
Okay. Oh wow, that's nail biter.
Yeah. Although this feels like a huge deal to me and I'm very proud of it, this is the smallest tier of grants that the city of Austin gives out.
Okay.
So it's just a $5,000 grant, and you have I had between October 1st and some date in March that the event had to be within those states.
Okay.
So I know January 4th is not typically our brightest, most lovely weather. But truth be told, after the holidays, and after the sun setting at like 3:30 in the afternoon for a few months, like we just need something fun to do.
I love that.
And it's that last Saturday before the kids go back to school. So
Okay.
if you do have kids and you're out of activities for them, toss them up to Skyline Park.
Love that. And it's really like historically now with our new winter situation that has been South Central Texas, like in the
Yeah.
last few years, like that's before the
The
February,
February
like
freezes. Yeah.
very cold, very like snowy, whatever. So it's like kind of like your last hurrah before what may be a snowy
Yeah.
February.
Yep. But I've got contingency plans. If the weather stinks, we will go for it again, probably spring break time in March. And hopefully, again, this is my first rodeo with this kind of putting an event together. But I really would like to see more things like this in our community.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that these kind of ideas continue to grow and evolve. And anyone who's kind of interested in the same, energy here in Easton Park,
Yeah.
that we can all kind of work together towards creating what we want out of this community.
Yeah, bigger, better. It's kind of like a proof of concept at this point.
Yeah.
And then, when this goes well, next year, sky's the limit. And
Yeah.
then beyond that, which is awesome. Is there like a sign up, or can anyone just come at any time? Like, how open is kind of like, is there registration? Like, how does that work?
That's a great question. There's no registration for most of the events. There will be registration for the Beat Buddies class with India.
Oh, sure. Okay.
As well, we have 3 kind of classes or workshops that will be there. So Beat Buddies with India will require a sign up, which we'll share on the Facebook event page.
Excellent.
We've got Eddie Ramirez, who lives over in Discovery Park, who's going to be leading photography classes. And what's extra cool about these is that he's going to be focusing on how to take better pictures on your cell phone.
Cool.
So you don't need supplies. You don't need really anything other than just your phone.
Yep.
Just to learn kind of better placement, picture theory, things like that.
Cool.
And then there is a really lovely friend of mine who has recently gotten into bookbinding. Weird flex, but very cool hobby.
Very cool.
And she's going to be having a journal making workshop. So if you've ever had any interest in kind of binding your own book or creating your own journal, that's something that you'll be able to take part in too.
Very cool. So those are the things that you would have to sign up for, register for.
But everything else is just come as you are, come enjoy, stay as long as you want. We'll have live music. We'll have things to look at. We'll have artists painting live that you can just kind of walk around and see. We'll have all kinds of just like, I guess on a small scale, like art installations.
So
We'll
cool.
have this giant garden, these huge like 4 to 6 foot flowers.
Like these guys?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
There's going to be a chalk walk with all kinds of art from neighbors. There will be
Chalk walk. So people are
Yeah.
gonna like draw on with chalk on the
Yes,
sidewalks.
Yeah. And I sprung for the bougie, like professional art chalk too.
Cool. No way.
So if you've ever wanted to try the kinds of chalk that those folks use in like chalk competitions,
Yep.
we'll have those there too. So
Very
explore,
cool.
try it out.
Yeah.
And to that point too about volunteers that we were talking about earlier, like if you want to be a part of it, if you don't necessarily want to be a part of it, the chalk walk is an example of something that I would love to have help maybe the day before the event or the night before the event, that you could come on your own time, do your own thing, make the art you want, and then leave and let people love it and see it and engage with it the next day.
Awesome. So excited.
Yeah.
It's going to be excellent. Is this an event that someone should maybe bring their own lunch and water bottle to? Will there be food set up?
Paul and Brookfield are going to be supplying a food truck. So we will have food there.
Cool.
It's not a super long event. It's just 11 to 2, which although is over the lunch hour. Bring food if you want. Get food at the food truck if you want. Just feel free to come and engage.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's talk about Brett Myers with Nolo for a second, because he's doing music.
Yeah.
He's a dear friend of mine, and I am so excited. He has a level and a passion for art that is so very cool.
Yeah.
And he is also, we were chatting about it, and he loves helping communities. So a lot of what Nolo does in a really cool way is they go and play music for the people who have checked themselves in to Recovery Unplugged, and is so passionate about helping people get sober should they choose to do that. And they do that through the art of music. And Brett is truly one of the most talented musicians I've ever heard. First, I guess, and most importantly, if people want to volunteer, what can they volunteer for? And then how do they reach out to you?
Yeah, absolutely. On the Facebook event page, there's a link to Sign Up Genius that has a ton of different volunteer opportunities, from crocheting a tree sweater or yarn bombing. Which, if you don't know what that is, it's kind of like something they used to do, I guess, in Portland at some point. But people would just like rogue crochet and make very colorful, like tree sweaters.
Okay.
And then just sew them onto the trees. Sounds strange. Google it. It'll make more sense. But like the whole goal is just to make Skyline Park as colorful and as interesting as possible. So if you are a knitter and you want to knit something, great. I will totally put it on a tree and take a picture and send it to you.
Awesome.
You can volunteer with your family. You can volunteer with your kids. You can volunteer solo. There are even like kid-specific volunteer opportunities, like the Kindness Crew,
Yeah.
where kids will get a superhero cape and they can pass out these friendship bracelets that I have been lovingly making over the last several weeks.
Do you need help making friendship bracelets? Because
Oh my
I would
gosh,
love to help
yeah.
make some.
Also, low key for all the Swifties who were too poor or not lucky enough to get tickets to the Eras tour.
Okay.
Feel free to come stacked with friendship bracelets, and then we can just trade them and just enjoy that kind of like sisterhood or peoplehood or communityhood.
Yeah, love that.
But yeah, I've got a ton of these bracelets that my daughter and I have made with all kinds of really encouraging words or comments in English and in Spanish.
Excellent.
So I would love to give them to anyone who volunteers. Hopefully, if I keep up on my train, I'll have enough for everybody who comes to the event too.
Excellent.
Feel free to bring your own.
I'm going to
trade
make
them
you
around.
some.
Oh, I would love that.
Awesome.
But yes, if you speak Spanish, that's another huge help. I do not speak Spanish. I am embarrassed to say, but I would really love for all members of this Southeast Austin community to feel welcome.
Yep.
And not just to feel accommodated. I want them to feel called to this event, like welcomed in and encouraged to
Awesome.
participate. And as that's something that I can't do personally, if there's anyone who is inspired or creative or welcoming and speaks Spanish and would love to take part in really calling people in
Cool.
and making them know that they are welcome where they are, I would love that help too.
Awesome. And they can just go to the Facebook event page.
Yep.
Sign up.
Sign Up Genius.
Sign Up Genius.
And if there is any way, not just that you would like to attend, but you'd like to help, but if you have parameters on how or when you are able to help, but you're willing, I'm happy to work with you to find a way to have you contribute. This is the kind of event where it's not any one person or any one topic. Like, yeah, it's art, yeah, it's creativity, but it's really rooted in community. We want to show up and show out for each other, get to know each other, just even if you're not actively doing anything other than being there with a good attitude. I think that's something that will serve us all well.
Awesome. I can't wait. I'm very excited about it. So Art in the Park, January 4th, Skyline Park.
Yep.
11 to 2. There will be a food truck.
Yes.
And there will be lots of activities. The ones that they need to sign up for or register for, because there's limited space.
Just the workshops. Yep.
Just the workshops.
Beat Buddies with India, a photography workshop with Eddie Ramirez, and then a journal making workshop with Jody Ewing. So
Excellent. And they can sign up for that on Sign Up Genius on the event page.
yes.
It's going to be so exciting. So everyone look out for the rock with the beret, which is
Yep.
going to be amazing. Tree sweaters,
Tree sweaters,
oversized garden,
oversized
friendship
garden.
bracelet,
Oh, and oversized friendship bracelets.
oversized friendship bracelets.
Someone in the neighborhood had a box of ball pit balls they were getting rid of, and they're like, "Oh, I bet you could figure out something to do with these." Challenge accepted, my friend.
And
We have
done.
some very large friendship bracelets too.
I love this.
So everything that can be colorful or decorated or interesting will be colorful or decorated or interesting.
Amazing. And overall, everyone, no matter what, is welcome.
You are welcome. You are wanted. Please come. I would love to see you.
Awesome. Well, we'll see you there. We're very excited. In Easton Park, if you have questions, reach out to Emily on the Facebook page. Otherwise, we'll see you on January 4th at Art in the Park at Skyline. And I think that it's been really fun to watch Easton Park as it's grown. And it is. It's an affluent group of, professional people who are passionate about community. And so it's been really fun to watch Easton Park continue to keep opening arms to the community and serving the lesser served people in 78744. So I think it's excellent. And you were here. So you were in Easton Park, OG. Bryant Park.
Second or third house that moved in.
No way.
Cherry Bean Path represent.
Ooh, super, super OG.
Yeah.
And there's nothing out here. Nothing.
No, I mean, even when we signed our contract, there wasn't even a model home here to sign a contract in. We had to go to some development off of Riverside.
What?
So we really kind of went in just believing the promise of what the neighborhood could be. And, I know everybody gets impatient with the way that, things just aren't happening fast enough with the amenity center, yada, yada, yada. But truth be told, from the time we signed that contract to now, I think it's really unfolded at a steady pace into a community that's just more and more interesting.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I mean, in the grand scheme, so if y'all were the second house to move in, was that 2016?
2016. Yep.
So from 2016 to let's just call it 2025 because we're there. That's 9 years of thousands of homes, the Union, development of like a dozen parks,
Yeah.
thousands and thousands of feet of walkway, like multiple miles, right, of trails and parks and green space, and now retail. Like that's a pretty steady. It feels slow. It's 9 years, but like that's a pretty steady development.
It feels solid to me. I'm very proud of everything that's kind of gone on in this community from the developer perspective. It really feels, for the most part, like very thoughtful.
Yeah, really
like
intentional.
where the pocket parks are, where the regular parks are, how people can walk to or from different parts of the neighborhood. So that's all been stuff that I've been really impressed by.
Yeah, it's been cool. And I think what's really cool, so you can do all these things, right, and intentionally develop this neighborhood like that we're the Sims in it, you know, and we'd like they do all these activations. We go to them, which you're going to do one. And
can I get like a diamond?
Yes, exactly. Hopefully it's green.
Yes, yeah. Good health.
Good health. Yeah, you don't need to go to the bathroom.
Nope.
Like there's close bathrooms. You're not hungry. This kind of is a Sims community of like everybody's happy. Like everyone really is happy to be here. And I think too that like from the very beginning, because we moved in. We're Nob Hill second phase. It still felt
very new,
real new. And there was nothing like where the apartments are. There was nothing where CVS is. There was nothing there was nothing where Union Park East and West. Like it was just Bryant Park and Nob Hill.
Yep.
And when you guys were, it was just Bryant Park. It's so crazy. There was no like apartments even down McKinney Falls. It was just a little hub, little burb of Easton Park. But what I think is so cool about Easton Park is just it is so inclusive and it is so supportive of the community, and it's almost like everyone knows that we're surrounded by a less affluent community, and it seems like everyone's leaned into that of like let's help support the area that we're in, and I think it's stinking beautiful.
Yeah, which for the most part, I think like any community, there have been growing pains and
Sure.
people who maybe expected different things when they moved in. But yeah, I think people have been really intentional about the energy they bring to this community and the way that they engage with each other. And, truly that was kind of the reason I pitched pitched for the grant for this neighborhood.
Yeah.
Because I want to be a part of that. I feel like this is an energy I enjoy living in, a welcoming community I enjoy being a part of.
Yeah.
But, I just felt ready to be more active in kind of guiding that culture that I really enjoy here.
I love that. Is there like you're an artist, you do some of the coolest stuff, but where do you think that passion comes from?
That's a really good question. I am someone who is always kind of setting my navigation towards joy. And I think that there were times in my life where I didn't think that was quite as cool.
Mm-hmm.
But truly, it is. It's cool.
It's so cool.
It's powerful. It's a way to connect. It's a gift. And it's something that's worth sharing because I just feel like we're all running this rat race and we're so tired with these crazy breaking news every 5 minutes. And you're either working or being sold something or you're tired.
Yeah.
And this was an opportunity to create a space where nobody's trying to sell you anything and you don't have to pay to get in. And there's ample parking.
Yes.
And everything's accessible and designed for you to just come and experience and enjoy.
And create.
And that's been such a gift to me, finding my way back to creativity. Because so quickly my like downtime or my recharge time just became scrolling.
Right.
Or something kind of just being isolated, like binging Netflix or hanging out at home. And it's just nice to have an opportunity to share what I've gotten out of creativity and kind of leaning into like weird ideas.
Yeah.
And that'd be strange, but it'd be fun to look at or it'd be fun to try.
Yeah.
So often that's something I feel like is framed as a part of I don't know, the childhood experience, the state of play.
Yeah.
But being in a state of play or allowing yourself to get to a state of play really, I think, does wonders for your mental health, for your ability to focus on things, just for you to be able to process feelings, good or bad, you know, having an outlet for that.
Yeah. I think like being busy with your hands is cathartic. like whether like good energy moving through you, or you need to move bad energy out of you, or you need to think about stuff like crochet or knitting or painting or like making a friendship bracelet or like what, anything, like just doing something with your hand or there's so many forms of like art, right? Like even we had a musician on earlier today and he's just like, playing music, like anything is so, it's just like healthy. And then I think there's like a second, like a next step, because I'm not personally, the things that I create from my hands, I'll be very proud of the effort, but like I'm not an artist. Like I don't have a vision. Like visually, I can't like see something in my mind and paint it. Like that's just not. But like
to be honest, I can't really either.
You painted that picture of your friend's dog. That was excellent. Like that was such a good thing. So I was gonna ask, like, have you always been very like artistically inclined, or are you like? I don't know.
I was as a child. I loved art in school. It was always my favorite subject. But frankly, like the kinds of our art never seemed like a viable career.
Okay.
It never seemed quite as important as other subjects. And I was very, very focused on what I thought would be successful or respectable for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I never really thought that would be kind of a future. And to be honest, I still have a day job. Like this is my cool idea and my cool event for the community, my love letter to our neighborhood.
Yeah.
But it's still kind of like a side thing. I don't know that I'd be brave enough to make that jump into art full time, but man, I'm having fun dabbling in it and inviting others to participate. So
yeah, I love that. And I think too that like there's like people who create and make art their source of income, and like whether it's music, painting, whatever, like I think that you have to have a source of where the creativity comes from, and like where the like I don't know, and probably having a job during the day that like you're thinking about. I don't know, my brain best does like background work while I'm doing stuff, so to be like, oh, like you could get flowers. The thing you're going to do about the rock, is that something we can talk about?
Totally.
On this? Okay. Can you, and maybe we'll send a picture of the rock that you're talking about to Steve. And
I have it on my phone. I look at it like daily to think, ooh, how can I make this cooler?
Tell us about the rock.
Yeah. So this was one of my many strange ideas that I just leaned into because I thought it would be fun and joyful to look at. There's that big, weird tombstone looking rock that's on the corner of Hillock and Colton Bluff Springs.
Uh-huh.
And one day driving by, I just looked at it and thought, like, it kind of almost looks like a Mr. Potato Head or something. Like, I bet you could slap some googly eyes on that thing and it would be funny. So then I just leaned into that idea, and I don't want to spoil exactly what it will be, but it does involve a 5-foot beret and those sassy lips behind me. But it will be decked out in preparation for the art event, as will tree trunks and the hillside by that musical sculpture. Like all kinds of interesting things to look at too.
Wait, the musical sculpture at Skyline Park?
Yeah.
That is such a cool thing. I had not been in like under that when it was windy until just the other day, and I was like, oh, whoa, this is like a whole vibe.
Yeah.
It's so
and it's
cool.
delightful that it's not all the time. You kind of have to like witness the magic on a windy day.
Yeah.
I was a little worried about how that was going to turn out for those poor folks living right across the street. Can you imagine just wind chimes all day?
I love wind chimes. Yeah, so we're right across the street from the trolley, and my office used to be in the front of the house.
Oh, every kid ding, ding, ding.
All day long. Like, which at first was like, that's really cute. And then I'd have people on my Zoom meetings be like, what's that in the background? And so for a while, I wanted to go and create a rubber situation that wouldn't make any noise. And then they changed it to now it's like a rope.
Oh, okay.
I think I said it. I think I told Colette back in the day that I was going to go remove the bell. And
that's an Easton Park throwback, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, Colette. We miss Colette. She's the best. But Paul does an excellent job. I mean, like, seriously.
And Danielle will do a great job too, I'm sure.
Yes.
I think she's taking the reins from him now.
Really? Oh my goodness. Good job, Paul.
Yeah.
I'm so proud. And so he's stepping up. He's going to be
I don't know the details on that. I just know he's welcoming Danielle into the fold.
Excellent. Well, we all love Paul, and Danielle's excellent also. But I do like wind chimes like all the time. I think it's such a lovely sound. It's so soothing.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And I think that everyone's welcome. It's just and so we're
all ages, all
Yes.
abilities. I will have signage in English and in Spanish. I am really hoping to have some Spanish speaking volunteers, really just to be able to invite folks to participate.
Yeah.
It's going to be a vibe. It is going to be a beacon of creative community, positivity, inclusion on the top of a hill with a bunch of cool art projects mixed in and cool stuff to look at.
I love this. Is it like if kids are going to come and make some, or anyone who kids ages, so one of our clients is a company called Letter Press Play. We need to go to their store.
Yeah.
But she's a printing press artist, and her whole idea is play, and that people play from ages 1 to 99
Yes,
and beyond.
They should. Yeah.
And they should. And so anyone who's coming to play and be creative, are they going to be able to take what they make home, or is it going to go into like a large art piece for the community? Like, what's the end result?
Well, both things can be true, right? We've got different stations set up that you'll be able to explore different mediums, things like clay or graffiti painting, color bombing. There's going to be a community watercolor done with water guns, with liquid watercolor.
No way.
That'd be kind of cool, right? Take a super soaker and
paint,
shoot at a huge canvas.
Yes.
Maybe I'm wild. To me, that sounds so fun.
No, that sounds awesome.
So there will be community art projects that you can kind of be a part of, a piece that the community makes together. And there will be individual art opportunities across mediums. But this is really more a celebration of creativity than of creative projects that are completed, per se.
Got it.
Because truly, sometimes it can feel overwhelming when you think, oh, I want to try art, or I want to try this new hobby.
Mm-hmm.
And you think about all the supplies you need for, say, finishing like a crocheted blanket.
Sure.
Right? It takes a lot of work from your trip out to the craft store to that finished blanket.
Yeah.
And that can be overwhelming.
Yes.
So much is asked of us every day that, like, to relieve that pressure of having to have finished a perfect piece, a lot of the opportunities there will just be kind of trying something, put some paint on a canvas, see what that feels like. So if that answers your question in a roundabout way, individual creative exploration, community art projects, and frankly, just watching too. If you're not feeling it, if you're not feeling up to taking part, then just like walk around and oogle at things. Like, there'll be a lot to look at and see.
Yes.
And actually, oh man, there was something else I was going to bring to show you, but one of the volunteer opportunities is part of something called the Kindness Crew, where there are going to be kids from Collins and around the neighborhood. So if you've got a kid who's interested, handing out friendship bracelets and stickers, and passing out compliments. And they've got these really cool superhero capes that I made that say kindness matters across the back. And they're a bunch of different colors. So if your kid's into capes or compliments or creativity, all of the above.
I love that.
Yeah, I would love to have them take part.
Okay. So how do people, if they want to take part, how do they reach out to you?
Yeah. So I've got an Instagram account set up, an email set up, but the easiest way is on the event on Facebook.
Okay.
Because I've also got linked there the Sign Up Genius for the volunteer opportunities. And speaking of those, even if this sounds super cool, but you're just not in a place where you really want to be around people or participating to that degree, there are ways to help before the event with other folks. There are ways to help before the event on your own and kind of dropping something off.
Cool.
There are ways to help at the event, walking around, being stationary, speaking to people, not speaking to people, whatever your vibe or ability or willingness to put into this event, I will accommodate that. I know not everyone is at the place to sign up, beaming, talking to strangers all day, or maybe doesn't feel quite creative enough to help with an art project. But if any part of you is interested, there's absolutely a place for you, and I'd love to help you find it.
I I love that. And I think that it's so cool that like when you say all inclusive, like you're not thinking DEI, you're thinking so far past that. You're thinking like you're obviously all are welcome, age, color, race,
Yeah.
socioeconomic, everyone, but also to be like so thoughtful about maybe someone doesn't want to be around people but wants to help. Like I don't know that anyone else, like I've never heard anyone else think about that openly and like talk about it of like
Yeah.
you want to get back to your community but maybe you don't want to like talk to people.
Totally fine. I get it. COVID and motherhood and the last couple of years have been a strange ride for all of us.
Yeah.
And personally myself, I, kind of isolated a bit in
Sure.
figuring all of that out. So I get it. I get the feeling of like wanting to participate, but not necessarily feeling brave enough to walk right in.
Yeah.
But I've got you. Like if you want to be a part of this in any way, like we'll find something that's comfortable for you. I'm not here to push anyone past anything. It's just like a warm welcome invitation. Like you are welcome.
Yeah.
You are wanted. And I would love to help you find a spot where you feel good about it.
Ah, Emily, you're so awesome. It's just so like refreshing. And like I can just say, just to get like personal for a second, even
Yeah.
going into your home feels like that. Like you, first of all, going into your home, you're always doing something. There's not like on your table or outside or whatever. It's either like potions for like, or like, and a lot of you're teaching creativity to your daughter, this like open creative world of like, try it out. Like there seems to be no bounds of like, give it a shot. Like who cares about the mess? Who cares about
Steven does sometimes.
Well, fair enough.
To be fair.
Fair enough. But even though like maybe things get messy while you're like, and I'm not saying that your house is messy. I'm saying that because
my house is lived in and cozy and a comfortable place to be.
But like, I think it's so cool for your daughter who we're growing up in this world of social media that young girls are seeing on TV and mom, let me see your phone, all of these things, and it's just like when like we're the same age when we were growing up, there was no TikTok to scroll or like you look at kids that were 13 when we were 13 versus girls that are 13 now. It's like
it's wild.
It's wild. And so I think my point of like your home is cozy, lived in, and so welcoming and warm, and like it just feels like home at your home. And it's also fun to walk in and be like, what? Like, what's Emily working on? Like, there's at one point where you're making concrete mushrooms. That was cool.
Yep.
The potions for her
all the time
her
in our
birthday
house.
was so cool. And like just kind of the freedom to be you. Like you're one of the most like welcoming, warm, accepting people I think I've ever met in my entire
so
life.
kind of you.
Yeah, and like it's like it feels free to be me at your house, you know, and that usually takes a long time for everyone, I'm sure, but your home is just cozy and welcoming.
Oh, I'm so glad that you feel that, and you are always welcome.
I know you're always welcome here too, but I think we're a little less cozy just out of, I don't know, we don't have kids, like, but to go and like hang at your place and like, and your back porch is so awesome. And can we talk about the mural you painted?
Yeah.
But before we talk about your mural, can we talk about how you let like your daughter paint her mural next to the door, which is so stinking cool. Like mom's painting a mural, like why wouldn't she paint hers?
It's just that confidence. I feel like when we grew up, things were different because kids were, quiet, out of the way, obedient. I don't want an obedient child. I want an independent thinker and, someone who is confident enough to put that paint on the wall.
Yeah.
And I get it. Different strokes for different folks. That might like totally bug other folks. But I love it. I love empowering her and seeing her just confidence grow. And I can't think of any reason why that wouldn't be a wonderful gift for her to have that foundation so soon. But as parents, we're all just doing our best figuring it out. So no judgment on those that don't have children's murals on
their outside wall, like paintings.
Yeah.
But you painted, how many flowers did you paint and classify on your wall? There's like, like 10, 12 maybe?
I think 10 or 12. I'm not sure. That was actually the week that that Eleanor and I both had COVID.
You did that while y'all had COVID?
Yeah. I was very, very tired of being inside, and it was very, very cold outside, but that was my like reason reason to like have something to do that wasn't making snacks and playing Barbies.
Yeah.
And it got her outside too, so it was good. But yeah, it's just paintings of all of my favorite flowers that grow in my backyard.
So
And
freaking cool.
I labeled them all with their names, so it's kind of cool to me now that Eleanor can say, "Oh, that's Copper Canyon Daisy," or "That's, coneflower," or whatever.
Yeah.
Just
It's so beautiful.
yeah,
And your backyard is a bit of an art piece itself. Like, your garden was so like intentional and well thought out. And then I don't know. I kind of like, I hate to say this. I like when y'all go out of town because I get to water your plants like in your garden during the
Yeah.
summer. And it's just like, I would spend time out there just like watering and eating your strawberries and like in your
Yeah.
tomatoes. And it was just,
it's
the
a peaceful
best.
place. We've worked hard to kind of refine the focuses and the energies that we like to be around, and I feel like we've really kind of protected our peace at our house in that way. Like there is definitely an energy, a vibe to the home that we've created, and that's really what I want to bring to the neighborhood too.
Yeah. Yeah.
No bad attitudes, no weird sales pitches, no
Yeah.
pressure in any way to be anything that you're not comfortable being or doing. Just come hang, come be a part of this. You
Yeah.
are my neighbor and I want to meet you. And even if you don't want to meet, I'd love to just like share space with you and
Yeah.
share creativity with you. And that's just something I'm kind of excited about.
I love that. So Art in the Park,
Yep.
January 4th.
Yep.
When and where?
Skyline Park
Okay.
from 11 to 2. And
There's going to be music.
live music.
Live music.
There will be other neighbors involved.
Okay.
We've got India and her Beat Buddies class. She's going to have some children's music classes.
I love India.
Yeah, she's
so cool.
she's just incredible.
Yeah, she's a ray of sunshine.
She really is. And she's such a ray of sunshine that, to be honest, I've been like fangirling her over our neighborhood Facebook pages for a while.
Yeah.
And when I asked her if she wanted to be involved, it felt like I was like asking someone out. I got those like butterflies.
Those vibes.
India,
You're like,
do you want to like
so
collaborate
you wanna
creatively?
hang out? Do some art stuff. She's excellent. And I like the work she does with the kids in the neighborhood is just like,
She's just a beacon of joy.
yeah.
And what a great opportunity to amplify
Yes.
what she's already doing and being
Yes.
and impacting. So
She's fun. She's fun. She was cool. She came on early in the podcast, and I had not met her. I mean, I knew of her, of course. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's India. Like, she's
kind of a celeb, right?
She's a total celeb. And then I had a really long work day. I was late because we were wrapping some stuff up with a client, and came in. She gave me a hug. I was like, let me just change really fast. She's like, so easy, so kind, so just
Yeah.
like beautiful in her presence and everything that she is. And then like we started talking about the podcast, and she broke into song. It's awesome. And then she pulled out like props. Like we played children's game of like she had scarves, and we were blowing the
Yeah.
scarves and throwing the scarves, and it was just so kind of like what you said is there's a lot of being asked of us every day as adults, or just anyone living alive. Anyone
Yeah.
alive. And like to come home from a really stressful, like it was a really stressful day. I was tired. And that like play energy, like brought me back 10x. Like it
Yes.
was so fun
Yeah.
and so cool. And like, I'm so excited that she's going to be a part of it.
Absolutely.
Irene is also helping. People know her through so many things.
Side
One-
Yard Salon,
Side
through
Yard
the
Salon.
mural she's done in the
Yes.
neighborhood. She's an
That
incredible
mural,
artist.
That mural.
Yes. Oh my
is-
God. The variegation on those leaves just like gives me chills. I
Yeah.
love it.
It's so beautiful. And she told us the story of the family that she painted that for. And I think that that's her story to tell, not
Yeah.
mine, because I would probably tell it wrong. But it was she's so cool and she's so thoughtful. The one thing that I will share is in that painting, the tree was like not in the original plan. And she's like, it's their fence. Like I had to build in the tree. Something about the tree was not in the original plan with the flowers and the swing and what have you. And like, she's like, yeah, I'll put it in. Like, of course.
Yeah, man. She's just a marvel to watch. Her creativity is just so bubbly in like the most incredible, effervescent way, I think. But
Yeah.
she also can get these like wild hairs of creativity that when she leans into those, it's just magic, you know? And that ability to tap into that like kind of free creativity.
Yeah.
Where you're not creative, you know, creating a product or like something for someone. Like you're literally giving like a part of yourself to them. Like you're so I don't even know how to describe it.
It's like a vulnerability that
for sure
that like you have to tap into and be okay like taking a risk, putting it out there.
Yeah.
And I loved when she was telling me, I think it was the tree, and she and I think we spoke for almost 3.5 hours the day that she came. She's so cool. There's so much to like.
She's so kind, so interesting, so thoughtful.
Yeah. And fun to talk to.
Yeah.
But I think it was with a tree of like having to kind of change the plan and just being so like having the original thought of like, this wasn't part of the plan to like, of course I'm going to paint the tree. Like, how cool is that? And I would think that like as an artist, and maybe just like as a creative adult in general, like we talk a lot about entrepreneurship on this, and I think it takes a high creative level to start and run and create jobs for people.
A very specific kind of creativity.
And you've got to be able to pivot. And, but I think it's hard. And I think that as we age and as we gain more life experience, that you realize that like holding a firm ground, and I'm not talking morally or when it comes to like integrity, but like when it comes to like, this was my idea, we're doing it my way, like that as you get older, you realize like that's not the way to like just be more open and agile. And I thought it was really cool of her to speak about how that wasn't in the original plan, but now it is. Like, let's put it in, let's pivot, let's be really flexible. And I think that's beautiful.
I think so too, because in that moment, right, like you have so many choices that you can make.
Yeah.
And is this going to fluster me? Is this going to anger me? Am I going to have to rearrange everything to make this work? Or you can just kind of like relinquish control and go with it.
Yeah.
And I think she does such a graceful job of doing that in life, inside and outside of art. I feel like this has now become like an Irene love fest, but so be it, because she is
clip
worth
it for her so that
loving.
She's amazing, and she's just so real. Also, and she was so. Her podcast hasn't come out yet, but we talked a lot about you, and we talked a lot about Art in the Park and how excited she was and is, and all of those things. And then so we have all forms of art, including music. Let's talk about music for a second. Brett Myers of Nolo is an incredibly talented artist that is going to be, it's a solo show, or is it going to be all of them?
It's, I believe, going to be a solo show.
Cool.
But yeah, live music, good energy the whole time. There will be a pop-up dance party for the kids and adults at one point during the event. We've got all kinds of cool scarves and flags and things that are interesting or cool to dance with.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun too. But just having that live music, that actual energy of someone playing music for you while you're there, I think is going to take it to a whole new level.
Yeah. And I mean, that's a form of art too.
Absolutely. Music, dance, fabric arts, painting, clay, like
so cool.
Anything can be art, but like intro level for this, like just get closer to that creative flow.
Yeah. Well, and to be around, it's kind of like, I was talking about this the other day with my dear friend Abby. We were talking about body doubling and how like even if you're not working on the same thing or even speaking, but being around people who are either doing something that you're interested in, or if you're feeling like in a rut or like having some sort of like creative block or mental block or whatever, like going to be around people who are interested in what you're interested in is very powerful.
Yeah. And having so many opportunities to engage, I think, is important. And I've tried to be really intentional about the activities that will be a part of Art in the Park, so that if you are just kind of a wallflower and you want to walk around and look and not necessarily have to be pulled into anything, cool, do that. There's going to be cool stuff to look at.
Yeah.
If you want to just be a force and jump into something wild, like water gun, painting a canvas, or throwing color bombs at the wall to make an image, like great, there'll be that too. And
what's a color bomb?
Oh, excellent question. Are you familiar with like the holiday of Holi? or like a color run. It's
Yes.
used in different cultures for
Yes,
different
yes.
Reasons, but
Isn't it big in India where the
absolutely.
yes.
Yeah,
Okay. Yes.
yeah. So I was able to find a small business owned by an Indian American mother
Amazing.
who makes non-toxic, color safe, washable color powder. So I've got, this is like all my weird ideas, y'all. But having these balls filled with this color powder, and you can just like chuck it at a canvas, and then there's a cool like splash mark.
It's powder and the powder stays?
Yeah, it's not permanent and it will wash off.
Okay.
But it will also be a cool way to like physically engage in the act of making art, you know?
Yes.
Like,
so okay, excellent. I love this. You're so creative. Is Steven creative?
he is creative in his own way.
Okay.
And I feel like that's the thing where creativity is often given such a narrow scope where creativity equals art.
Yeah.
Steven and I are such an incredible pair because we have such complementary skills.
Mm-hmm.
And where I am very creative artistically, he is incredibly creative with problem solving.
Okay.
And I think crediting yourself when you have those kind of creative moments or creative thought processes can be really beneficial, because this whole concept of I am or I am not something, we're all kind of everything. And when you're able to credit yourself with what you're able to do with creativity or with thoughtfulness or with any number of personal skills, I think that's pretty cool. Like, he can get creative with a spreadsheet.
And
I cannot.
That is super creative.
Yeah.
And I think that that's like a really good point, is that, and really like to your point of like, come at any level, come at any age, come at any ability, like just come, like, because it is like anyone can be creative. Everyone is creative.
Yeah.
It's just finding your scope. And I love that you said like it's not that you are or you are not. Like, it's just at what point, at what level, at whatever.
Yeah. And it takes some exploring to figure out what feels good.
Yeah.
And I think so often we get stuck in a rut of what our job is or what we introduce ourselves as or who we are because of what people tell us, or having this kind of freedom to explore and to fail and to try stuff that's awesome and to try stuff that's like, ooh, not my jam.
Yeah.
There's growth in that.
Totally.
And I think having a safe space to do that, or just to lurk and watch other people do it, can be really powerful.
Yeah, so I will be vulnerable for a second. I've always wanted to do, like, to go do clay, like, where it's on the spinny thing and you get
Ghost,
it wet.
a la Ghost, yeah.
Yeah, and, like, but I'm, like, so intimidated to go, because I think that you said it earlier, is that, like, you get into a hobby and then you go to the craft store and then there's, like, an overwhelming amount of choice.
Yes.
And then brands and price points and colors and all of these things, and it's like, and then you got to buy all the things, and then it becomes like this whole
you haven't even started building the thing yet or doing the thing yet. And you've already and
you're like, I'm already mentally fatigued from just like being alive. Like, now I gotta, like, I want to do this passion, I want to do this with my hands. And then there's also like, I sometimes will get intimidated going into groups of people who know more than I do about stuff. And it's like, I would love to go do, like, make vases or pots or cups or what, just like, or even just get my hands dirty. But I'm like, I'm so intimidated. I think there's a place like not far from here where you can go do.
Yes,
what is
I
it
know.
called?
Let's go.
Spinning clay. You want to go?
For sure.
Like spinning clay, or what do they call it? Where you like
a throwing clay, throwing pottery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one thing I want to do is just like spin it, and don't you like get it all wet and you throw it, like splat. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, you don't even need to leave with a vase. Just leave with the memories.
Yeah, and sometimes the experience is the best part, right?
Yeah.
Like, or like even painting with a twist. That seems less intimidating to me. I don't know why, but I think it's because I really care about wanting to do the pottery part. And like, so what would you say, like, to me or to someone like me who's like, I want to get into this thing? Because it's not just getting into a hobby, it's also getting into a community and kind of an investment into yourself and the hobby. Like, who's scared to start?
I would say, one, call me, because I'll go with you.
Okay.
Also, anyone watching, I'll go with you too if you want. But just to be brave, like, be brave enough to try, be brave enough to start, because there are so many things that will block us in different aspects of life or our career or whatever.
Yeah.
Never be part of that. Like, you're going to get enough roadblocks. Don't be your own roadblock.
Aw. Aw, just give me goosebumps. And like a little, a little well here.
One glistening tear.
Yeah, no, that's what we say. Look at that camera
Yeah.
if you're gonna throw out one tear. But I didn't think I would be the one. Like, I'm usually not the one. Like, aw, no, that's amazing. Like, don't be part of your own roadblock.
Yeah. It's easy to. I mean, no matter what, well, I don't know. I'm speaking from like corporate America background, but we're just so exceptions focused. We're always looking for what was done wrong or what needs to improve or what we failed at or what could have been better. You know?
Yeah.
Like, what if we flipped the script and just said, what
What
feels
we do
good?
right? Yeah.
What are we kind of good at? What do we enjoy doing?
Yeah.
That's just kind of the phase I'm in life right now, and it feels really fabulous.
I love that. You were talking for a while about like just kind of the getting over the hump of like starting a new art hobby of like
Yeah.
we get like kind of back to what I like was saying is like the cost of getting into something or you don't really know, and then you have like you're like maybe you want to like crochet a blanket like
Yeah.
you said earlier, like there's different weights of yarn, there's different weights of the crochet thing or the knitting needles or whatever. I obviously know a lot about this, but like. You were talking about, are there subscription boxes or like, are there like programs out there if you're like, I want to do something in art, but I don't know how to get started? Like are there starter kits? Are there?
Oh, for sure. I mean,
Okay.
shoot, you could like find anything on YouTube or
Mhm.
Facebook. There are a ton of really creative people. I feel like there has just been this kind of awakening of creative energy and of independence and free thinking with stuff like this. Like,
Mhm.
I feel like there are folks on social media or out on the internet that have some video of something that might be interesting to you to do.
Yeah.
And though a lot of art, unfortunately, I feel like is kind of cost prohibitive with the
Mhm.
cost
Yep.
of supplies, another good reason to come to Art in the Park because
Yeah.
it's all free. It's all there. It's all open for you. And you won't have to make a ton of decisions by like walking up and down the aisles of Michael's. I've been really thoughtful about what we'll have there, what will be fun, what will be, easy to engage with.
Cool.
So just come try it out.
Awesome. That's so cool. And you can see if you're like someone who's like, oh, maybe I really want to mold clay or do something. And then you get your hands on it and you do it. And you're like, I have no interest in molding clay anymore. You just saved like $100.
For sure.
Not going to get all the stuff and the time. Anyway, I'm so excited about it. Emily, Abrams Smith, and I just finished our podcast. We talked about everything having to do with Art in the Park, which is on January 4th at Skyline Park.
11 to 2.
11 to 2. There will be a food truck. Everyone is welcome. Literally everyone's welcome.
Welcome and wanted.
Welcome and wanted. And Emily is so passionate about this. Even volunteers who may have a but to their volunteering. I want to help but or
If there's anything keeping you from this event,
If you have a but.
want to come, but if you want to participate, but you're unsure about this or that, please reach out. The entire purpose of this grant money was to have a celebration of creativity in this community. So if there is anything that you are concerned about that might keep you from attending or participating, let me know. I want to figure out a way to work around it because I would like you there.